Welcome back to Football Talks, everybody, your number one channel for all of the up-to-date Premier League transfer gossip and information. And there is so much floating around again, as you'd expect, with the window only a few days away. We're on a countdown now, 4 days away from that transfer window opening up on the 1st of June, 28th of May today. And where are we at? What is actually happening? Updates on Victor Gyökeres, Gibbs White, Arsenal? Really? Well, talking about why City are not going forward, and we mentioned it yesterday with Shirkey, but there is more information on that today. We're going to talk about that. Marcus Rashford's impact on Aston Villa, with him wanting to move to, obviously, Barcelona. That news has come out and talks with Dzeko and Hansi Flick, but what does that mean for Villa? Could it be that Jack Grealish ends up going back there, or is Newcastle going to steal in? Manchester City set their set their price demands for Jack Grealish. Be interesting to see what Jack Grealish would actually be on, in fact, at any of these clubs. But it isn't looking good for Grealish under Pep. And Pep's getting a bit salty about it, but where is he going to end up? We're going to talk about all of that. Let's kickstart with the Victor Gyökeres situation right now. Obviously, Victor Gyökeres has said no to Manchester United. He said no to Chelsea. It looks like it's all set up. He either stays in Portugal or he moves to Arsenal. Now, the noise is going around the Arsenal situation right now. We're always about Dzeko or Gyökeres. It looks like they have put their eggs firmly in the Gyökeres basket now that they've got the green light, and it doesn't seem to be like there is any other club standing in the way of Arsenal from signing Gyökeres now. That's the important thing to remember in this. The competition factor is that there isn't much there. There was only a certain amount of clubs that could buy Gyökeres this summer with that term and that stipulation in his contract that after 2 years, if certain clubs came in, Arsenal being one of them, they could bid and take him for a lesser price, that being 55 million as reported. The whole package at the moment is looking like it's going to set Arsenal back about 70 million with wages and what Gyökeres wants. It is looking like this is moving closer and closer now because, like we just said, there is nobody else in the reckoning for him now. Chelsea have moved away. They have got other targets. Obviously, you've got Ekitike, you've got Delap, you've got Osterman possibly. All of them have been in talks with Chelsea, as we know. And so they're off the table now when it comes to Gyökeres. United don't have Champions League football. They cannot afford to buy Gyökeres anyway at that price, I don't think, at that age. If they had Champions League money, they may be able to go a bit further with this deal. Arsenal look like they're going for the Premier League with this type of signing. How much does this, if Gyökeres does sign for Arsenal, intensify that race for the title? Where does it put Arsenal in the pecking order? They had everything but a striker last season and came close again on both competitions, Champions League and Premier League. What does this do for them? Does it propel them into that favourite position now that they've got a top striker? Or is it still Liverpool if they sign Wirtz? That deal is edging closer as well. No major updates on that yet, but we will have you covered here on Football Talks as soon as that Wirtz update comes in. Just on Liverpool quickly, Frimpong is in and obviously it will be signed, sealed and delivered very, very soon. That deal looks done. Obviously another one that is already wrapped up, medicals happening, is Matheus Cunha to Manchester United. That deal also over the line. We're looking at the potential ones that could come about. Gyökeres is moving closer to being a Gooner, and that deal is very, very close now. So that means that Arsenal have got everything, doesn't it? No, apparently not. They're also looking at, yes, check this out, Conference League playing Nottingham Forest captain Morgan Gibbs White. Now, we knew that Gibbs White was right up there at the top of the list for Manchester City. That talk has cooled simply because of City's interest now, like we reported yesterday, in Ryan Shirkey. So Ryan Shirkey now is a top target for Manchester City, therefore replacing the more expensive Gibbs White, who is going to cost upwards of 60 million for anybody to take him away. Obviously, he has performed to different levels this season for Nottingham Forest and has attracted the attention of the Premier League big guns. The fact that Forest didn't qualify for the Europa League or the Champions League and only being in the Conference League, is that enough for Gibbs White? If the big offer comes in, Nottingham Forest and their financial fair play situation and the gamble that they made in spending a lot of money, will they have the opportunity, or will they have the chance to turn down a big bid for Gibbs White? That's the question, I think. But Arsenal have stepped in for Gibbs White now as well, and that's the report and the latest one today, that they may come in ahead now of Manchester City and buy Gibbs White. What they need to do, obviously, they're looking to find a replacement for Thomas Partey. That's supposedly going to be Zubimendi, who has agreed already. But Zubimendi, Gibbs White, Gyökeres, That's serious. Who else moves on from Arsenal to make room for them players? Have they got enough money to buy them players? Can they make this happen? That is what is going around the Arsenal side of things. Not just GYOKERES, but news today about Gibbs White. Now, there has also been a story going on. Arsenal don't have that much money to spend. Obviously, they've committed a certain amount to Zubimendi. They want GYOKERES. That's their top targets. Replacing Partey and bringing in a striker that they haven't got. Gibbs White would be icing on the cake and would just strengthen that squad depth. And obviously Arsenal last season were hit with massive injuries which they couldn't cope with. Is this a sign that Arsenal are getting behind Mikel Arteta again and giving him an even bigger squad to attack the titles this season, the Premier League and the Champions League? It is all about Arsenal this morning, I know. We're going to move on from that now, but let me know in the comment section what you think. Does that, if they sign Zubimendi, Gibbs White and Victor Gyökeres, is that Arsenal as the title favourites for next season with what they've done and what they were missing last season? Let me know. Get into the comments on that one. Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. I've been talking about this on Forever United TV. Hansi Flick and Deco are big admirers. Obviously, Deco, sporting director at Barcelona. Hansi Flick, the manager. They are looking at Luis Diaz as their priority transfer, but Marcus Rashford has not gone away. And Matteo Moretti, a journalist over in Italy, has been talking about Marcus Rashford contacts being made and talks still ongoing. And it's definitely something that could still happen this summer. Rashford going to Barca, which takes Villa out of the equation to take Marcus Rashford. Like Romano said, 40 million. The offer is still there for Villa. It is dependent on the player by the looks of it, though. Villa are happy to make it happen. Marcus Rashford, not so. He wants the Barcelona move. So that leaves Villa without Asensio, without Rashford, without Duran, and only Watkins in that forward area right now. Look, they've still got other options there, obviously, and they have got good players there at Villa, but they are missing a forward. Could that mean the man himself, Mr. Alice Band, Jack Grealish, out of favour massively at City right now, moving back to Aston Villa? And you guessed it, yes, for the same price that it would cost Villa to take Marcus Rashford. How much of an impact will Grealish have moving back under Unai Emery at Aston Villa? This is a deal that can happen. Newcastle are very interested. The price has just been set by Manchester City, which tells you that with the way that Pep is and how salty he is about Jack Grealish and the questions being asked at the moment, not using him in the final, not using him in the final day of the season as well. His Club World Cup position under threat also. Jack Grealish is going to be sold by Manchester City this summer. We've now got the official price, which is a 40 million fee. Somebody's going to have to pay for Jack Grealish. Will Aston Villa go back for their old boy for 40 million? At the age he is now, obviously 29 going into his 30s, he's hitting that absolute last move territory. And to go back to Villa, it would be that fairy tale story for Jack Grealish to help them progress and maybe get back into the Champions League, possibly. But this is now starting to bubble up and get very interesting indeed with Jack Grealish. He is definitely going to leave Manchester City by the looks of things. Where is he going to go? Will he fancy a move abroad? I honestly feel like he fits right in at Newcastle and he's perfect for going back to Villa. I think for everybody, for the football world, I think Jack Grealish going back to Villa is the best story that could happen. And just see the old Jack Grealish again. Because I think Pep has taken something from him. Doing well and having a very good couple of seasons, the treble winning season in particular, he has lost that Jack Grealish zest, hasn't he? He's not the same player. So I would say get back to Villa, Jack, and let's see the old Jack Grealish for the last few years of his career. That would be epic, wouldn't it? But you tell me, get into the comment section below. There are your transfer updates today on Football Talk, floating around the Premier League. Some big moves are about to happen. 3 more days, or is it 4 more days, till that window opens. Looks like business is already getting done, and it's just going to be a case of announcement, breaking news all over the place, and we got you covered here. Let me know what you think in the comment section, everybody. Give me your thoughts. Like the video, hit the subscribe button to stay completely up to date with everything going on in the Prem. All the transfers are happening right here. Cheers, everybody.